How's it going, YouTube? Just bringing you guys another match today for BT8. This is going to be a pretty fun match. This is going to be on the right. We're starting off with the Imperialdramon player, the meta deck that everybody knows about. It's been around the block once or twice. And then on the left, we have the Mame deck, the Balls Are Flying deck, Mame. So let's see how this match is going to go. So into the gameplay here, there is going to be a glare right in the middle of the screen, mainly on the Imperial side, but we'll go ahead and go over what those cards are as they show up. So here it was a VMon. As you see, it gets moved out of the way. They do have the EX VMon in the back. They will go ahead here, raise up, thinking about what they want to do. You can see he's thinking about going back and forth with a Hammer Spark, and a Hammer Spark up into the X VMon. They're not going to want to swing here, because if they do, the Thundermon will go ahead and be able to swing over that X VMon, and that kind of ruins their plays. So they'll just Digivolve into the Lydramon, passing them to as little memory as they can on the Mamemon player side. So here, the Mamemon player is just going to go ahead and do what Mamemon deck do, is just swing face. They're going to swing in. The Pagumon effect will go off when the Chikurimon dies. Unfortunately, it is an Izzy, so that deck or that card will just go ahead and get bottom decked. Here, kind of thinking about what they want to do, they are only at 2 memory. A lot of the things about the Mamemon list is, unless you have specifically some of the low cost cards, there's not a whole lot you can do, because a lot of the Mamemons are quite a decent amount of memory. And what they decide to go ahead and do is just drop down a Catch Mamemon. Now, Catch Mamemon's Wind Digivolving effect is part of the thing that lets you return some cards up, mainly to set up for like a following Senbon Dokkan or a Mamemon effect or Bancho effect. But here, we're more worried about getting the level 6 or level 5 on field for a potential Mamemon play, I would assume, a Bancho effect, and then passing them over to as little memory as they possibly can. And here, the Imperial player will go ahead and swing in, lose a little bit of memory, or I should say the Mamemon player will gain some memory because they do hit the Izzy and reveal a bunch of black cards off the security. And then they just play down the Davis after evolving back and raising, because they clearly don't have the Pyodramon, but now they do. So for follow-up turns, the Catch player or the Mamemon player, I should say, has to kind of figure out what to do, knowing that they have the Paladin mode in, or Pyodramon in hand. So here you'll see that the Bancho player decides they will Digivolve into the Bancho, deciding not to activate the effect. This is mainly because of the effect, he already knows what's on the top of his deck, so there's no point in actually activating the effect. So he will just go ahead, swing over a body, and then finish up by hard slamming down a rookie. So at this point, the Imperial player will go ahead, raise up. We know they have the Imperial, so to try to finish up game, they'll swing in with the X VMon, getting severely punished here because the X VMon does in fact hit a Senbon Dokkan, which lets him play out Mamemon's up to a 15 play cost in total, and he does hit 2 Mamemon off the effect, and then he's able to delete a 6 cost or less play cost Digimon by the effect of Senbon Dokkan. So he is able to go ahead and get rid of the X VMon because it will have Armor Purge, and then So now, without anything to do, he doesn't quite have the exact stack that he wants to for Pyodramon. So he just goes ahead and plays down the Stingmon and is able to DNA Digivolve, bottom decking one of the Digimon on field, bottom decking the Nanimon. But when they swing in without having that jamming, he does hit a Big Mamemon, and Big Mamemon is big. And Big Mamemon will go ahead, take down the Pyodramon with no protection. Just ending turn, the Mamemon player will go ahead and just start swinging in, and without anything to stop him, security and security effects to pass back turn, they will end up taking game 1. So on to game 2, the Imperial player will opt to go second here, which isn't very surprising. That way they can make use of any memory that the Mamemon player is going to give them. He's seen kind of how the deck works, so he knows his turn 1 play is usually going to be to give him at least 3 or 4 memory. So he will go ahead and play down the Thundermon on the Mamemon player, go into that 3 memory, being able to Digivolve up into the X VMon and back, and then just choking them back over at 1 memory by hard playing down a VMon. So here the Mamemon player will go ahead, swing in the Thundermon. It will live, being the big Chongus that he is. He is 6k for a champion, so he is going to be able to live against that Stingmon effect. And then just go ahead, Digivolve into the bigger Chongus, into Big Mamemon, put him at that 10k, passing over to 2. So that way, if he does end up having the Pyodramon, he won't be able to just bottom deck the Thundermon. Here we'll see the Stingmon, or the XVmon I should say, swing in fact, living the check because he has jamming, and then DNA Digivolving into Dino Beamon. Now right here, I will say that this game has a massive misplay error. The Stingmon, or the Dino Beamon, should target the big Mamemon and keep it suspended. You'll notice here in a little bit after this turn resolves where they just go ahead, swing into the Izzy, and that passes turn over back to 3. You can see here that the players are trying to figure out if this effect works. Unfortunately, I was in the middle of my match and nobody called over for the judge at this point, so they just go ahead and unsuspend the big Mamemon. In this situation, the Dino Beamon can already target a suspended Digimon and keep it suspended, so here the big Mamemon should not have been able to unsuspend on this turn, and we'll just go ahead and swing over the Dino Beamon. Very crucial gameplay error here, but there's nothing we can do about it, and the match is still interesting enough to see a Mamemon, so we're going to go ahead and power through and see how the rest of the match goes. So here the big Mamemon, being 10k, is able to swing over the Dino Beamon, and the Mamemon player is going to pass him over to as little memory as possible by playing the Analog Youth to mill a couple more cards and find another Digimon, passing him over to only 2 memory. So here, the Imperial player would just go ahead and start building up another stack into a Stingmon, unfortunately, into the back. Nothing else to Digivolve into, I would assume. And then hard slamming down the Searcher Vmon, trying to find that free type Digimon. Passing the turn back over to the Mamemon player. They will go ahead swinging with the big Mamemon, swinging big body first. Kind of risky, but here it does almost pay off because he goes ahead and uses or runs into a Mega Death Insecurity, which suspends the Nanimon and bounces it back to hand. So at this point, since he's got the Nanimon in hand, you kind of expect him to go ahead and hard slam one, but he ends up hard slamming another one, so making quite the big board for himself. Now he has 3 bodies on field, only 3 security left on the Imperial player's side, also with a Jakurimon, and you never know if there's something like Grumblemon in this list. A lot of decks that run Black Tamers will like to use Grumblemon as that little bit of a game finisher. Now, here we'll see that the Imperial player does have to hard Evo into a Imperialdramon to go ahead and start getting some checks off, hitting into a Senbon Dokkan out of security. Now, unfortunately for the Mamemon player, but fortunately for the Imperial player, he does in fact not hit any Mames off the top, so he isn't able to play out anything off of the effect of Senbon Dokkan. So here, without much more follow-up, they will just go ahead Digivolve into the Imperialmon Fighter mode, and here they bottom deck, just getting used to the, thinking it's the Imperialdramon effect, but in this point it doesn't really matter because he has 4 swings on board after that last Nanimon came out of security, and he will just swing 4 checks, taking game 2. A little bit of a misplay, but the Mamemon player will end up winning the match 2-0. So I know you guys might be a little upset about that little misplay, but things happen sometimes, players learn, and not everybody knows how effects like Dino Beamon occur, because it is one of those effects that, does it target a suspended Digimon, does it not target a suspended Digimon or not. But all that being said, I still hope you guys enjoyed the match. If you do end up liking the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, leave any comments down below about anything that you had to mention about the match. But with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching to the end of the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later.